Como é que é, pessoal? Bem-vindos novamente ao Undergrounds Voice ao vivo. A minha convidada de hoje, Helle, vocalista dos Ucranianos Ignea. Thank you so much for being here. It's a huge honor to meet you. It's nice to meet you. Thank you. I'm really happy to receive you at Undergrounds Voice. Ignea played in Portugal last year at Vaco's Metal Fest. What can you record about, what do you remember about this night, about the Portuguese crowd?
I can say that this is actually one of the best festivals that we've ever played. And for you to understand, we traveled 4 days, like with our bus to play there. I mean, we played some Spanish shows as well, but like we loved the crowd, we loved the organization, and like the festival treated us very well, and we'd really love to come back. And this was actually the last European show we played before the pandemic. So, yeah.
Well, your second album, The Reels of Fire and Dead, was released in April. And I think it was a big improvement from comparing with The Sign of Faith, which is also a great album. I love Alexandria, for example. It's an awesome song. But yeah, this album is more solid, more complete, and it's also a conceptual album, right? Can you talk a little bit about that? I know that's divided in 3 parts, and it can be completed with a book. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I can also say that for me, this album is more mature than The Sign of Faith. We worked on it more. It is more well thought, and because it is a concept album, we had to think everything through, and it is divided in 3 parts, and each part tells a story. So like we have 3 songs telling one story, then 3 songs telling another story, and the third part as well. But all of the stories, all of the songs, they are somehow related to fire and death, like from various perspectives. And apart from writing lyrics, I also wrote short stories to tell like each of the stories that is in this album. And we just gathered it into a small book that also has some illustrations made by our artist Maria, who also did like the artwork, the videos and everything. And that is also why I think that this album is more complete than the albums before, because we have like the visual part of this album is also very, well thought, and it is, everything is connected, like merge the book, the artwork, videos, like everything. You can see that this is a part of one work, because before we also didn't have, we just bought the artwork that was already there, and everything was misplaced a bit. So here it's really like one piece, so to say.
Yeah, the artwork is awesome. Can you tell us more about this artwork? It's awesome.
Oh, well, actually, like, as I said, we have a designer and illustrator and animator, Maria, who is also from Ukraine, and she's a very talented girl. We've been working with her with lyric videos for a couple of years so far. And she also created like this video for Queen Dies and Gin Slammer and Disenchantment. So, and I don't know, like with her, the best thing is how we work. We just give her music and that's it. And so we trust her on everything she comes up with. With this artwork, though, we just asked her to make it in a certain style. We just asked her like to make it like gravure, or how to say it. I don't know how it's in English. So I mean, like this style of painting, and that's it. Like the rest of it, I gave her the tales and she illustrated everything. So I mean, the book also, she just read the texts. This booklet is also, we have it in a vinyl. We have a huge booklet like in the limited edition. So yeah, it was really cool, and she did everything like on her own.
Yeah, I think you're a really versatile singer. You have an amazing voice. You can sing like in What For example. You can be more groovy, like in Disenchantment, for example, and you can scream and be harsh, like in Too Late to Be Born. Do you take your effort to the extreme to be the best vocalist possible?
No, I can say that I think people shouldn't compare vocalists because we all have different voices, different timbres of our voices, and some things are really made like by our genetics and by the structure, like by our lungs and by everything. So, and also I can say that people, when they hear the voice, they perceive it differently, and some great vocalists can sound not that good to some people just because like it's physics, it's, I don't know, it's feelings and perception and everything. So I never have an aim to be like the best vocalist, and also I don't like when people say these are the top 10 vocalists of like this genre and everything. It's like, I don't know, this comparison, it's not like speed or temperature or length or something. You just kind of compare it. And I can say that I feel that I improved my vocals since the last albums because I just felt it. And when I came to the studio, I had more duration. I mean, I could sing longer, I could sing better, but I have so much to improve still. And sometimes people ask me to give lessons, like vocal lessons, but I'm not ready to do it, and I think I won't be ready to do it for I think 5 years or something. I just need to. I know what I have to work on, and yeah.
You guys released an album in the middle of a pandemic,
Yeah.
so I'm sure you had to change a lot of your plans, a lot of your everything. You have to cancel, you have to delay, all about the promotion, about the tours. I'm sure it was probably affected the album and merch sales too. How this pandemic is being affected for you guys?
Well, for us, it's a very strange situation because yes, we announced the album. We started the pre-orders, and 1 week after the pandemic hit and all the borders were closed. So I mean, at that point we couldn't pull it back. That's why, and like this album is fully financed by our listeners. That's why like we even didn't think about postponing it because like it would be unfair to everybody, and that's why we decided to do it. And I think that there were two things that affected us. The first one is that all the merch production was delayed, and people had to wait longer to receive it because like the factories were closed, and when the pandemic started, everybody was in a lockdown. Then we had a delay with shipping this merch because the airlines were not flying correctly. Like there were too few airplanes, so the people had to wait even longer. But other than that, we were planning to have at least two huge tours in Europe this year, and we even didn't announce them because the pandemic started. And yeah, I hope that we will be able to do them next year, but still we don't know yet because the borders are still closed, and Ukraine is also outside the European Union, and I mean we don't know when the borders will be open. And the bands that we were about to tour with, they are from the US and Canada, so I mean they're also not from the European Union, and that's why everything is uncertain right now. And we also had some shows in Finland for this December. They are already postponed for May. So we can just hope that at least in spring next year, the vaccine will be found, and maybe we will get back to touring. But other than that, with all this pandemic, I'm just glad that we have like our fans that are supporting us. And actually, this album was more successful in terms of merch sales and in terms of album sales. and that's why I cannot complain like that it's really affected us so much, because compared to many other bands we are not suffering that much. And also I want to say that people are always telling that the bands cannot tour, the bands cannot sell, but actually the people who are working in this industry, like, you know, live sound engineers and venue owners and journalists, like, these are the people who are affected most, because other than doing the shows they don't have any jobs. So that's why I can say that being in a band is not the worst thing that can happen in the music industry during the pandemic.
Yeah, actually, when this pandemic starts, I did some interviews like this with what were you saying, like people from venues or promoters, and to help a little bit. So yeah, I understand what you're saying. And now, as I already said before, the Sign of Faith is a great album. I really love this one. You released an instrumental version of it too. Why did you release that?
You know, sometimes just because I have a marketing background, I just understand that a band should be active like all the time. And sometimes you just cannot bring some new music. And that's why we just thought, why not release like an instrumental version? And people were actually requesting it. And that's why it didn't take a lot of efforts on our side. We did it, and actually people are very grateful about it, and they say that they use this album, you know, as a background to work when they're working, for example, or when they're exercising. And I also myself, because I'm working with texts a lot, I sometimes love to listen to instrumentals because they're not, you know, distracting me from the thoughts and everything. So I think it's just for the sake of content and for the sake of meeting the demand of people.
Can you expect also an instrumental version of this new album?
I actually don't know, because this album is a bit different in terms of arrangements and everything. I just don't think that it's going to work well with instrumental version. And I think that if we do it, we will probably do it for like exclusively for Patreon. I think that this is what's going to happen, because I mean people are supporting us so much, like already for almost 2 years. And like whenever we can give some exclusive, we try to, you know, to please our followers and our supporters.
Yeah. When I think about Ukrainian bands, I think about Ignea, I think about Belfour or Scarlet and some other great bands. You have a great scene there. But just like Portugal, it's not easy to be famous worldwide. Anyway, Ginger appeared a couple of years ago, and they appeared like a bomb. Did it change anything in the Ukrainian scene, or it's just like the same? People are paying more attention now to the Ukrainian bands.
I can say to you that Ginger have been on the scene for a very long time, actually. And before they, like you said, hit like a bomb, they were already touring for many years. So it didn't happen overnight, you know. They earned this success. And in Ukraine, metal is quite underground. I mean, there are many metalheads, but like in terms of industry, we don't have like proper journalists, or I don't know, festivals, only metal festivals. There are very a few of them. That's why, like, even in our case, I guess that Ukraine is like 5% of our audience, and we are mostly known in Europe. And I think that for us, the top countries are United States, Germany, Finland, but not Ukraine. And I don't think that it's a bad thing, because we have certain music genres that are popular in Ukraine. And for example, like the new wave like of electronic and pop music, we have really great bands here, and they have great music, great production. We have a huge festivals, and it's just everything is happening, but not in metal genre. And I also can say that there are some other European countries where who deliver, great bands. For example, we also talked to our friends from Italy, and they said that the situation is pretty much the same. They have a lot of bands, but they have not so many listeners who appreciate like the Italian fan base. That's why it just works that way. And we also know that, for example, in Finland there are more metalheads than people who listen to pop. It's just like that. And I don't think that geography determines like the fan base. And I also say that yes, we are from Ukraine, we're proud that we are from Ukraine, but like you shouldn't compare people by where they come from. That's it.
Beside the band, we have something in common. You also do interviews and podcasts. Are you a journalist, or just like me, you just do it because you love it?
um I guess that about 5 years ago, I tried doing something with my YouTube channel in terms of marketing for bands, just because I think that we're quite successful in it, as an unsigned band. I mean, we managed to grow a following like from all over the world, and people are supporting us. That's why other bands are looking at it, and they are contacting me, and they're asking me questions, how we're doing it, how we're approaching it. And that's why I thought I could do something on YouTube. I tried doing it 5 years ago, then I just stopped it because I don't know, I didn't have time. And with this pandemic, I'm sitting at home. I still have a lot of things to do, but I just thought that it would be cool to bring it back in some another format. So basically what I do some videos like where I'm talking about things on my YouTube channel. And I also interview other bands who are also like, I'm more focused on unsigned bands and on bands who are doing everything on their own, because when the band is signed, everything is working absolutely different because you have a label, you have a team with you. So that's why I just started doing it. I posted for 1 month because we had preparations for the show in Kiev, and we had some video shootings, but like next week I'm resuming it all. And it's just more, even when I'm contacting these bands, I say that this is mostly for cross promotion between bands, for sharing experience, and for helping other unsigned bands because they can learn something from our conversations. So it's more like, without any goal, without the goal to raise my YouTube channel. It feels the right thing to do right now.
The interview with Diva Satanica is really good. I saw it, and it's really nice. Will Portugal be in your plans when the next tour, or maybe next year, 2 years?
I hope so, because it all depends. We're not the one to choose where we're going to play. I mean, it depends on the bookings of the tour. It depends also on the route. So I hope so, because as I said, like it was one of the best crowds, one of the best festivals, and we'd love to come back.
I hope you can record a video interview in there.
Yeah. I hope so.
Well, finally, thank you so much for being here. It was a huge honor to meet you and talk with you. Last words for the Portuguese fans and Underground's Voice viewers.
I would love to say, stay safe and wear masks, stay distance, because like we all want to get back to the shows and to the crowds as soon as possible, and we just need to wait until this vaccine appears and until we can do it all again. And like right now, when you are distancing yourself and when you're wearing masks, you're just helping this industry as well. I mean, and don't forget about like the local venues. Don't forget about the bands that you are supporting. And even if you cannot help financially, because obviously it's hard times for everyone, just share music, just share the articles, the interviews as much as you can. And this is the best help that you can give us all right now. And see you soon at the festivals and the shows.
Yeah, thank you once again, and stay safe too.
Thank you. You too.